Greetings and welcome to my dear Taurus. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome to the channel. I shall be doing a non-card spread known as the Great Mirror for you today. Please note that my readings come from the light to shine in the darkness that which we not see. Please remember to use your discernment and to note that this isn't for everyone. If it is for you, please take the finest of salts, the grain in which to carry to your mill. Otherwise, I do welcome you to the channel. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun, and today we will focus on the energy of the second house, what we can possess, the materiality, and the bridge into the infinite. So, let's go ahead and get started. I'm working from a deck that is from BP Grimal, Paris, France, 1890 rather. It's a 130-year-old deck, and I hope you enjoy. Otherwise, please be well. Today's reading revolves around the energy of the Fool, the null card, zero card in the Bipigmod Tarot deck. And essentially this has to do with the energy of Mars, the ambition and the drive of that which I believe is in Taurus right now. Could be mistaken about that, but I believe it is. There is an activation here that has to do with transformation of the idealization uh, of certain things, okay? This has to do with turning back and away from things that have led you into modes of pain or modes of self-inflicted agony or agony that has been inflicted upon you by others. There is an end of a cycle here that usually begins with your first offering, and it is earnest. It usually comes in the form of either romance or some sort of project that you have ending in some sort of difficult way. There's something that you are working on that has to do with an inner core or inner being, an inner self that is forcing you into modes of action that depart away from certain ways of doing things that have to do with method or practicality. Once again, your projects, your relationships, anything that has to do with romance or creativity. And now you are burning that cycle. You're finishing it by applying an opposite element as opposed to air. It is fire that guides you. This has to do with an interesting complexion here. Um, what I'm seeing here is a block of communication that has to do with the past. What is emerging out of this is a connection that once faltered, that once was difficult to maintain. And now this is resurfacing in a certain way. Difficulty in actually trying to mentally stimulate yourself in order to understand this connection, but it feels like a great deal of unfinished business occurred here. Um, what I'm seeing here is potentially a burying of this, or perhaps a moving away from this in order to truly not make the same mistakes of the past. This has to do with great love and great meaning when it comes to that which can contain or hold something that you envision in terms of that which could be a distant horizon or some sort of beautiful poetry that you once spoke. Now there is a difficulty in actually to speak it, especially from anyone who is giving this to you, some sort of silence or perhaps a connection that is very subtle that has to do with the ether, something that is very much percolating or developing in a certain way. But, excuse me, therein lies the great lie, or some sort of difficulty in exposing the truth, okay, discerning the truth, especially about things that have been buried, a feeling of isolation that has been buried, you trying to make a way to find balance or equilibrium, making the choice towards that, really. Um, Difficulty, though, I mean, because there is a connection here that is trying to be severed by the other party. But it is difficult in doing so. Something about the empowerment they have through the mental mind, something about the way they think, the way they philosophize things, has turned south, or perhaps is going difficult in terms of them trying to find the crown of creation, that which helps them to understand some of the more fundamental praxis around their own philosophies, their core beliefs. Okay, and they're coming into conflict with that. There is something about you that is also coming into a type of center. You're trying to embrace a mode of change that is practical, that is led by the higher hands and the structures and the social isms of practicalities. Okay, and you are moving forth in this way. In a way, you're also taking a chance, moving away from old and difficult, outdated cycles that you have been working with, and now you're willing to essentially be gifted something, either through your community or your friends. Look to your friends or your community to help you garnish some sort of proper message from the higher ups or from some sort of structure that seems to be um, being built around you. There is a master plan that you are searching for. What you may find is essentially a sense of community or communitas, some sort of shared coming together with others. Okay, that is hope. That is within hope. At the same time, um, excuse me, your sister sign of Libra that is ruled by Venus as well is activating here, and there's something about them that has to do with karma, as them being the harbinger of karma. But what I'm seeing here is a letting down and weighing out of two different things. In a way, they are mirroring you and trying to find balance. What is occurring between both of you is a sense that this cup needs to be sort of relinquished, that the connection needs to be gently sort of let loose, let go, in order to find some sort of sense of peace. Okay, the heavens are watching over this connection big time, and both of you are bringing in a sense of purpose and justice. Okay, justice in a way that is very avoidant, very passive. Also, it is in a way, it's purgatory. It's one of purgation. Okay, some of the challenges that are here, excuse me, excuse me, they envelop a type of a feeling of sadness on your end and a feeling of love on theirs. But then they are trying to be very focused in terms of their mental activity, how they may manifest this connection only to enunciate karma, enunciate some sort of debt when it comes to karma and the responsibilities of karma. But they feel a lot of love that could be the thing, because they feel the love for you, but then they tend to see it as a very negative thing, appropriating in a way the stance of Aquarius, the stance of free love, the stance of love without boundaries or love without passions. It's unconditional in a way, love without conditions. But there's something that they said or did that made it very difficult for the bridge to be totally. I think you have a one up in terms of the practicality of things. Okay, that's how I'm seeing it. Deep down, though, there is something that they're trying to learn from you. There's a lot of swords on their end, so the triplicity of air is strong here. Libra, especially, Gemini as well, Aquarius. Strong inclinations of air, and air is an element of detachment. Look to the Mercury retrogrades, as the next three Mercury retrogrades are in air signs. This one in particular in Aquarius, I believe. Um, if I'm wrong, please comment and I'll surely make some sort of uh, correction. Otherwise, there is a possibility of the gateway into higher intelligence, especially coming from your opposing party, meaning that they will have a proclivity towards psychic activity. They will think thoughts, and these thoughts you may receive in some sort of way. But I think you're busy more on really trying to be real about things, to be very real. To the point where the cycle within this has always been one of tension or one of resistance. Okay, because of the difficulties of not having any practical sort of realistic responsibilities. Okay, what I'm seeing here is an emergence. Okay, what you're contributing to this in terms of what you're bringing in terms of fire, in terms of the Mars action, is a movement from the 7 to the 8. Okay, so great intuition is had here, enough to burn anything that seems false. Okay, the thing is that air feeds fire, and both of you are feeding this in order to, it's a very passionate connection, in order to essentially learn something on one end or be very practical on the other, but then still be led by your passions. You may see this person as someone who is passionate, or you've been passionate for in the past, but then now there is a reemergence and you're seeing the impracticalities of such an ordeal. That is what I'm seeing. As far as advice goes, it is to move forward and to use practical discernment and judgment when you are trying to understand some of the more recent projects you have. There is a great karma here that has to do with modes of being that no longer work, and you taking the next step in order to produce something. The thing is that there might be something about you that loves the pain here, and them that loves the love but hates it. So it's a very tricky, paradoxical situation here that's not very easy to discern, but hopefully that resonated for you. Hopefully it didn't. Otherwise, I do wish you very well, my dear Taurus. Thank you. Bye.